Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous. From presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Anna Young Mayo, who finds happiness in her life and career by serving and helping others. Anna, it's a pleasure to chat with you today. And I'd love to just start off by talking about your work with the finest Asian performing arts. How did you come to found that organization?
Well, start. This is what happened to me. Yes, this is the finest Asian performing arts that I incorporated, and then produced the finest Asian music festival since in 1988. Okay, I also created a special musical theme called Camellia, which is the Sacramento City Flower. Okay, and it started actually when my father was in the Air Force. He's an air pilot, and in the Chinese Air Force, and also he is the commercial jetliner. As a child, I have seen a great deal of many different types of Asian regions. Okay. Also, at the same time, in 1984, I took a special Eastern tour with my mother. This is the time I really, really find myself falling in love with the Asian cultures. Now, as I recall, I was a year later after I took the trip. I was ill. I had a major surgery. I was at home, didn't feel good. I couldn't do much. I was doing a lot of readings, and including the San Francisco newspaper that my aunt bought me. Okay. Now, from there on, I saw a very interesting article that is coming from a young musician coming from Beijing Central Chinese Orchestra who was visiting San Francisco area. Now, I was studying violins and guitar since I was 12 years old, and I even composed my very first guitar song named Jet Plane while I was in the airplane visiting my best friend in Ohio. Later on, he majored in music and guitar. Okay, amazing. And I then look up this young Chinese musician from Beijing, and then I start hook him up and start my learning the two-string instrument called erhu, and then also other types of instruments that very popular in China. Okay, from there on, I start going my lessons every weekend, not learning just the erhu. Then I start picking up learning the 21-string sitar, which is the called guzheng, and then I'm learning how to do the dancing, classical dancing, and then even I learned the traditional Peking opera. Well, I'm in. Okay. Then I start volunteer myself more and more. I volunteer myself as a videographer for the artists in San Francisco. And I recall one of the artists that I took the videographic is Mr. Yo-Yo Ma. I'm sure you know who he is. He's one of the most famous cellists. Now, that's the time I'm still working for the full-time for the Department of Defense at the Sacramento Army Depot as a computer software specialist doing system troubleshooting. Well, because I feel like that I've been spending 3 long years, hard work, learning from the famous artists, musicians in the Bay Area, and I'm ready to organize this finest Asian performing arts. And also, because I want to give back to them, and also I want to promote them, and so everybody in United States, the Americans, also the Asians will be interested in their professional performance. Okay, well, this really definitely strengthened the friendship between the Asians and also the American audience. And also at the same time, you're also helping promote the local talented artists as well. So they can be working together hand in hand with the well-known artists. Of course, we have motivated many, many, many young and old volunteer staff. And this is how I started.
And you've said that you try to find art in everything that you do. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, I believe that I am a true artist by heart. As an IT person, doesn't matter what I do, whatever I do, I implement the art in it. Let's say I create the websites, and that website I created music with the labor song. That's the time that when I was working with the California State Department of Consumer Affairs, I working there as an IT a specialist, but I also acting as a union president and job steward for the organizations. I incorporate the labor song on their first website. That time they didn't have a website, which I created for them. And I also helped to recruit many union members. They give me 1 week off, Anna. I want you to recruit everybody from the California State Union members for the entire state. I give you 1 week to do so. Well, I did it. Okay, I was very happy that I'll be able to help because they're really helping the unions and also the workers, and they all enjoy doing that too. I also love to decorate a large scale of buildings. I love to do that, and I also try to answer some of their invitation, and so I can demonstrate my artistic work, and then they would be appreciating some of the decoration I did. Now, this is for the Sacramento Downtown Community Arts Program that was involved, and I found that I do all my decorations in the evening all by myself, and I feel like that in the evening I can really express my true artistic talent. Okay, so I actually start doing this decoration talent of mine since my very first job with the Department of Defense with the Corps of Engineers in San Francisco as a computer specialist in programming. Okay, I'm doing that for their Christmas holiday events. One time when I first started, but anyway, that later on led me into do their entire building or 12 floors. I'm doing every floor for them for, I believe, 5 years. I worked with them. Okay, and also on my very last job working for the Department of Defense, the logistic department of at the McCollum Air Force Base, I have the honor as be chosen as the major decoration coordinator to do their transfer of the transfer function, the final transfer function. Also, the reason I believe I got chosen because I was doing the commander's building office every year, and I guess I was fortunate that I got selected. Now, besides doing a decoration for the military buildings and so forth, of course, I decorate the finest Asian performing arts posters. I create that, and also the Sacramento Community Convention Center building decorations, their stage decorations, and they were super. And that many viewers, they see it, they want to buy, not free, but they want to pay for the posters. Now that is really make me so encourage me really. So now that's one thing, but also in my house, I also love to do house landscaping. That I won one of the Las Vegas sponsored garden and landscaping program. Okay, so you might be really amazing that, hey, my first Chinese name also means beautiful. And it is also the nickname for the capital city, Chengdu, which is my birth city of Sichuan province in China. The presentation really attract many, many students and general audience, and which we gain their full support and also their knowledge of the Asian culture. And this really also strengthened friendship between the Asians and Americans, and also exposed them to the finest, top world-class Asian music and performing arts. Now, at the same time, we were able to identify and coordinate with the local talented artists, such as the martial artists, poetry readers, and the artist painter, and so forth. Okay, the finest Asian performing arts also had cooperated with the Sacramento Symphony at that time for its very first East meets West symphonic performance. Okay, and that time we have a very well-known pipa, which is Chinese flute musician, performed one of the Chinese symphonic concert in the United States. Throughout the past years, we also gained support from mayors and also very strong support from the state governor officials.
And you mentioned a little earlier some work with the military. So let's do a little discussion about your work with the military. You spent a great deal of time in the Air Force. People would be fascinated to know. So how did that impact on your career?
Well, as you know, my father was with an officer, a colonel, Air Force pilot in the World War II. And also he's very talented, just like me. Okay, he's a very good artist, painter artist. Okay, he helped the finest Asian performing arts in doing their beautiful stage background scenery slides for the projector. At those times, they used the projector for the background. Okay, well, following his footsteps after I graduated from the university, I was recruiting by the Department of Defense during the I call Vietnam War era, and I was also recruited. I was also volunteered at the University of California Medical Center in San Francisco near my parents' house. And due to so many transfer functions from the Department of Defense, I was working at the San Francisco General Hospital temporary for a short time, and I worked there as a medical IT programmer. Now, this is the time I joined myself with the Air Force Reserve, okay, as a medic. After my Air Force formal training, I relocated myself to Sacramento, working with the Department of Defense again, which is with the Sacramento Army Depot, being the youngest and also the only female computer software specialist in systems troubleshooting for about 12 years. That's a long time. During those years, I have received suggestion award from the Department of Army. Also, I continue my Air Force duties at the Major Air Force Hospital. Well, since that time, the hospital was pretty new, and they don't have a medical library. And I, using my work project, and established a brand new library for them based on my past working experience working the university library. Well, anyway, at the same time, I also managed to work as a tutor, professional tutor. I worked for the Professional Tutors of America for about 10 years. So I love to do my multitasking. Okay. I tutor mathematics, computer science, and language arts.
You are truly a Renaissance woman. And in addition to all the work that you have done for others, including the military, public, and private sector, I understand you're actually working on an artistic performance of your own that's loosely based on Snow White. Well, I'm a big Disney fan, so tell me a little bit more.
Well, I earned my master's degree in the Asian arts studies and philosophy. While I was busy about it myself prior to the finest Asian performing arts, aside from all my other tasks that I really need to complete, I am currently pursuing my doctorate degree in counseling that I'm really trying to finish it this year, at the end of this year. Doing counseling is very interesting. I find it, especially I have a great deal be able to help the homeless and the needy ones. And actually, I've been doing the professional personal counseling for over 20 years. Okay. And in the past, I enrolled myself in the various counseling classes and also seminars. Okay. Recently, I was invited and I also accepted as the advisory panel member for Bank America, which I was be able to make suggestions, recommendations, and improvement the relationship between the customers and the bankers, and also plus their operation performance. Now, I'm so happy that I got that position. Now, in the near future, I ultimately really want to create this gigantic musical and dancing performance named called Asian Snow White. And I will promise you it's going to be a very interesting performance.
Oh, Anna, thank you so much for sharing that. Of all the projects and initiatives that you've been a part of, which one has been your favorite? And tell me why.
Well, as a unique, original, creative person in many forms, I believe my heart is with the Asian culture arts. There's so many mystic richness and thousands of historical years of culture that is to be rediscovered and preserved.
That is extremely admirable, and I appreciate so much you sharing your love of the Asian culture and how you have truly incorporated it into the American culture. That is the true definition of diversity and inclusion. So, Anna, finally, what is the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today?
Well, I would like to see and hope someone will appreciate and learn from the video about me, that we live in a beautiful world full of interesting cultures and life, especially thousands of years of historical, artistic, cultural life. I also hope this video will inspire many to treasure and give respect to other cultures in this world. And I really truly believe this will make an universal, cohesive joyfulness to all.
What a beautiful, beautiful sentiment, and a beautiful way to end a conversation about inclusiveness and kindness and joy and the wonders of diversity in culture. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so very much.